Let's move to this story, which really has dominated the week, and that's the flooding caused by heavy rains across various parts of the country. A number of people sadly have lost their lives. Homes have been wrecked, and of course schools, shops have been impacted, and a number of people have had to be evacuated from their homes. Food aid is being distributed as well. Now, in KwaZulu-Natal, several schools remain closed due to flood damage, or were not able to open today due to flood damage. Bloemhof residents in the northwest also have had to be evacuated. Let's get the very latest from Siphamandla Goga, who is in Ladysmith in KwaZulu-Natal. Siphamandla, thanks so much for coming through to us. So, of course, coastal schools meant to have opened their doors today, but we understand that particularly in and around Ladysmith, the floods have actually affected the reopening of schools.
Indeed, in Uthukela district alone, about 35 schools have been affected, and 6 of those did not open today, according to KZN Education MEC Mishengo. But before we delve into that, let me bring you a devastating story about a missing 14-year-old teenager from this area of Evacuees. He was last seen alive 5 days ago in this river behind me, which my colleague Jokomane will show you. It is believed that he was swept away by water. This river, the levels of water was too high, to such an extent that the rocks that you see now were not visible at the time. The levels were too high, and the teenager was seen by his friends up until that last point, which is a waterfall. It is believed that is when he disappeared, according to his friends and to his family. His mother has been devastated, and we are going to bring her in to this conversation now. It's really a sad story, because the mother is looking for answers as we speak. Her name is Thulile Zikubu. She is the mother of a 14-year-old Sihle Zikubu. Siyabonga kakhulu ngesikhathi sakho ma. Let's talk about what happened on that fateful day. What do you know, the reports that you got?
I was coming back from hospital to take my younger son to the doctor's appointment. Almost 20 minutes from my arrival from home, there were kids, his friends, who came rushing in home, who told me that Sihle had drowned in this river. At a point, I was very shocked. I didn't know whether the kids were real. I just asked them again, and they told me the same thing. So I rushed off to this river to come and check if it was true, and only to find out that there were community members who had already been standing around, and the other kids that were with him were also telling their side of the story. From what I know is that the kids left home. They went across to this other place, across the river, to go hunting with their dogs, and when they returned back, they decided to take a bit of a swim. My son took off his trousers and slippers and went in with his underwear and t-shirts, and they said, his friends said that he was pulled by the water in his t-shirt into the heavy currents from the river. That's where they started seeing him drown, and they couldn't help him. They felt helpless. Then as he was going up and down the waters was pulling him down, and they followed him. They followed him on the land to chase after him, to try and see where he ends up. So this is the point where his friends said they last saw him. They said he just dropped over the waterfall, and that was just the last of him.
Have you received any help in a form of divers coming in here to assist? What is happening currently in terms of those efforts?
From the first day of the incident, divers did come from a Ladysmith police station. They came, they assessed the water, and they had said it was too risky for them to be able to work at this point, because the water currents are too strong. They can't risk another life, losing another life at this point. So right now we can see that the waters have subsided, so we're hoping that the investigations could follow through, and the divers can come through to help us at this point to see where we can find him.
It's a nightmare for a parent. Surely it's unfair to ask you how you feel right now, but I have to ask you that question. What do you expect now moving forward?
At this point, I don't know what to expect. Whether he's alive or whether he'll be found or whether he's dead, I don't know what to expect. But I'm truly hoping that I may be able to find his body, that I can give him a proper burial and a funeral. You know, at this point, I don't know what I can just say. It's been bad for me. It's been tough. It's been difficult. But I just keep on praying to God that He'll be merciful, even at this point, that He'll give me strength to a point that we can at least find his body, so that we can bury him at least. That's all I can ask for.
Okay, so as you are becoming emotional. Well, that is the mother of a 14-year-old teen that is still missing here. And earlier on, we've been able to visit a number of schools in and around Ladysmith. 6 of them did not open, and one of those is Sipimfundo, which is about 60 kilometers from Ladysmith town, and that is where we spoke to the principal because the roof of the school was blown away. This is what the school principal had to say.
We were not able to fit in all the learners. We are just thinking that because of COVID, and we are alternating the learners, maybe that could reduce the impact that it could have presently. Because most of the block is blown away, and one of the what you call we have technical subjects in this school, and one of the blown away what you call is a tech lab. We don't know where we're going to fit these learners for practicals because we don't know, we're no longer having what you call the tech lab. And it is very, very, very difficult. And we're just attempting to find out what will happen thereafter. But presently, we need to send some learners to home, especially grade 8 must go to home because we cannot accommodate them simultaneously.
All our schools, except 11 in Mkungundlovu, are functional, even those that were affected by the storms, because some have already had mobile classrooms delivered to them. Others are actually benefiting from the rotational system because not all the classes were affected. So they are using the classes that were not affected while we are still waiting for delivery of the mobile classrooms. There are only other 6 schools that have not opened in Ladysmith. Precisely because of the flooding. Those schools are not accessible, and we thought that it will be risky to force educators and learners to try and access the schools when we know that the situation is bad in Ladysmith. So overall in the province there are only 17 schools that are not operating today.
Oh, well, thank you very much to Sipamandla for bringing us the latest from that Ladysmith area. So a number of schools have been affected by the flooding in and around Ladysmith, but heartbreaking, the story of that mother who's waiting to hear about her 14-year-old son in Evacuees, which is about half an hour from Ladysmith. He went missing 4 days ago. His friends say that he's drowned in the high river waters. Absolutely tragic, and just brings home the perilous situation for many people faced by these floods. Sipamandla Goga in Ladysmith, thank you so much for bringing us the latest from Ladysmith. But of course,